Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Mömus stuffforcarguys. Today we're gonna work on our E39. Actually, I did already work on it. I replaced the belt and tensioner and the pulley. And whilst I was in there, I also replaced the thermostat because first of all, the problem was we had a very loud startup. The belt was not tensioned properly anymore because the tensioner was getting old. And in the cold weather, as you can see right now in the beautiful Luxembourg that we have here, winter wonderland, the belt was noisy on startup and it annoyed me. And the second thing was the car didn't hold temperature. I also mentioned that before already. The car didn't hold temperature on the highway. So you would drive the car, it would warm up to 90 degrees normally. Then get on the highway and see the temperature drop again. That's of course not good. You want to keep the temperature for the oil viscosity, especially in the winter months. And yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. Today we're gonna work under the hood, as you might expect. And we're gonna work right in there. So over there is our thermostat, and under there is our belt and the tensioner, which we're gonna replace. So the first thing to do, as always when working on a BMW, is to take off the radiator shroud. There are two 8mm bolts on each side, and then there are these clips that hold it onto the radiator, and you can simply use one of these to open it and then pull out the first part and then the second part. Then you can simply remove these brackets and lift off the shroud. Oh! Before we lift off the shroud, we also have to disconnect the fan in here. And the fan is held in by a 32mm bolt. So for the fan, use a 32mm wrench or spanner and something to clamp against the four little bolts around the fan motor, or the fan clutch, sorry, to hold it in place. Then you can crack it open. And it's on a reverse thread, so crack it to the right. And then you can just spin the fan to get it off the thread further. Careful not to drop it, because the blades of the fan can become quite brittle over time, and if you drop it down, you might break a blade. So, now we can lift this out. Take off the rubber piece. So we're also going to replace the thermostat whilst we're in here to do the belt. And it lives right in there, as you might know. And you want to make sure that when you do this, when you replace this, that the engine is completely cooled off. Just let it cool down overnight. You don't want to burn yourself on the boiling coolant that goes through. So there are 4 bolts in total holding on this T-piece here for the inlet and the outlet of the coolant into the engine and out of the engine. Crack those. And make sure that you will have a bucket at the ready. So especially if your car is lowered, you might want to invest in one of these trays that's quite shallow, so you can slip it under the car easily, because the normal trays don't fit. Okay. So then you take your new thermostat, once you've opened that and dropped the drop the old thermostat down. Take a new thermostat, put the new ring on the outside of it, and you put that back into its position. In the return side of this T-piece, There's also a small orange gasket here that we need to replace as well. You get in the kit, usually you get this whole selection of gaskets, so you just have to find the correct one. In fact, I think that is it. Let's see if it fits. Good. That fits. The old one is to throw away. And then we can keep going. Back under that bracket. Yep. And also back into position. And that's already done. Thermostat was really that easy. I suggest after you put the bolts that back in to take an engine cleaner spray, because the coolant usually dries up white. And that's quite ugly. So you take your engine cleaner spray and just rinse that off with water. Usually warm water will be better. And afterwards also we're gonna have to fill up here. You open the bleeder valve, bleeder screw, and fill up your radiator. Let the engine run a little bit, shut it off, do it again. When you're working on parts that are plastic or alloy, it's good to use just a small ratchet, not the big one, and don't over tighten because you might crack the material. So, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'm gonna clean this off and then we'll do the belt. So before you take the belt off, before you start stripping this down, if you're unfamiliar with your engine, or you think you might forget during the reinstallation of how it was together, then just make it a picture with your phone, or you can also make a drawing. Just draw the circles of all the pulleys and then how the belt runs in between. So this is the tensioner here, and we want to take the tension off to take the belt off safely. And there's a little cap on the front that you just pop off with a screwdriver, and in there is a 16mm where you just stick your 16 in, give it a quarter rotation, and that will take the slack right off your belt. Let's see now here. So, unfortunately on these BMWs, the primary belt runs behind the secondary belt, as you can see. So also have to loosen that in the same method. Take this little cap off, take the tension off, then we'll take the belt off and we'll fish this one out of there and put the new one on. So old belt is gone. Before we put on the brand new belt, we're also going to take off the tensioner and this pulley here, because they are making the noise, the dreaded noise. Once again, you just need 16mm to take this pulley off. So I got a little bit smaller ratchet, a 3/8, because it's a little bit easier to handle. And here, so, and basically once you crack it, it's so loose that you can do it by hand. It's also an extremely long bolt, by the way. It's about this size. There you go. Even longer. Then we take out the tensioner. And the same method. And the tensioner has, I believe, 3 bolts as well. Just need to look around for them a bit. Oh, it has 2 bolts, sorry. There we we go. Tensioner is off. So I just finished up tightening the bolts on our new tensioner and the new pulley. And I think it's time now to put the new belt on. Then we can put the secondary belt on. And then we can clean up. And have a new, smooth, maintained, all the rest car. Okay, let's go. Okay. Bam. That's on. Secondary belt in the bottom. And then it's time to do the coolant. Top off. Topski. So don't forget to put all the caps and the fan and the shroud back on before you run the engine, because it's always nicer to do when the engine is still cold. So we're gonna need some of this already pre-mixed coolant. This is good up until minus 30 degrees Celsius, which is nice because it's winter now. If you don't have the pre-mixed stuff, you can also buy like this demineralized water to do a mix yourself, but this pre-mixed is of course easier. So first of all, you want to open the bleeder valve. Right, then you want to open your system. Gush it in there. Huh? Then you close your bleeder valve again. Careful with these plastic BMW ones, they are very easy to break, especially when you open them. Then you close this and then you start the engine, let it run 5-10 minutes, and then you do the same procedure again. I'm gonna do the belt first now that the engine is still cold, and then do that so I don't burn myself. Good. Everything all back together. I think we should see how it starts on startup, or how it sounds. I think we should see how it sounds on startup to see if it's still rattling or did we actually fix it. Beautifully smooth. So all the repairs done. I think we should go on a little test drive and see the differences that we made. So before I talk about all the improvements here that we made, I just want to make a quick announcement, which is that we have recently upgraded our website, and like I said before, we are expanding our business, and we also offer second-hand and new parts for sale. So we are official distributor, for example, for Schmidtmann, BMW and Mini parts in Luxembourg. We got a lot of requests, hey, where did you get that bumper kit or this or that, the taillights, etc. You can all order it from us. And for non-BMW and Mini parts, we are very friendly with a couple local suppliers as well. So if you need something for a different brand, whether it be VW, Audi, Volvo, whatever it may be, just give us a call or shoot us an email, and we can probably find it for you. Okay, so that was that. We have now been driving for only 5 kilometers and the engine is completely warmed up. It's also much quicker than it used to be. It used to take a good long time. The thermostat was completely stuck open, and it took a long time in this winter. It's now 0 degrees. It took a long time in this winter weather to fully heat up the whole system. That's a lot better. It's a lot easier on the engine when the engine warms up quicker, the oil warms up quicker, and you have your normal viscosity sooner. And the other thing is, what you already heard just now, is that the engine on startup is nice and smooth, nice and quiet, just as you would expect from a 6-cylinder BMW. The smoothness, the creaminess is back. We're not listening to any rattling anymore, which I think is great as an improvement. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna drive back to the office now, hoping we don't have a slippery slider into the ditch.